Welcome to Aquila's Learning Seminar. My name is Noah, Marketing Associate here at Aquila Solutions. Today is going to be the first of our two-part discussion of eCTDs, in which we will be going over what the eCTD is, the history behind it, and a brief discussion on the structure. So what is the eCTD? eCTD is the acronym for the Electronic Common Technical Document. eCTD has been around for about a decade. It is used by the FDA, Health Canada, EMA, and other agencies to efficiently organize drug and biologic applications. While the eCTD format is not required for all electronic submissions, it is the standard for the FDA and other regulatory authorities for the vast majority of submissions. Unless there is an admin who has learned XML and understands the process, there will be a nightmare of an application that could result in a delay in the product being approved. Now moving on to the history of the ICH and the CTD. The eCTD is based on the CTD format. The Common Technical Document format was created by the ICH, or the International Council for Harmonization. The ICH brought together governing bodies, industry, and trade organizations to streamline drug development across different regions. For instance, the FDA required certain number of clinical studies and a specific submission format. The EMA required the exact same data, but the layout of the reports and application had to be different. In the past, a sponsor essentially had to rewrite the reports and applications just to present the data in both formats, adding unnecessary work. These entities collaborated with each other and came up with the standards that we use today. While we're just talking about the CTD, the other standards were developed for clinical studies, stability testing, and a variety of other information that is necessary to present to get approval for the application. When it was first approved in 1990, the CTD was entirely paper-based. In 2000, it was modified to be able to accomplish the ICH's goals electronically. At the start of this process, there were two options to choose from: eCTD and another called RPS, or Regulated Product Submission. As this presentation will show, eCTD won the decision. However, RPS has now resurfaced as a newer process described as eCTD 4.0, which should come into circulation within the next few years. This took a fair amount of effort to transition because the average expected lifespan of an application is 60 years. If the application were to be submitted electronically, there would need to be a way that is still valid 60 years from now. And that took a lot of problem solving and a lot of effort to get it right. They tried it out in 2000 and then updated it a couple years later in 2002 and again in 2008. Now, the structure is identical to the CTD except the table of content. Instead of being an independent file, it is now an XML backbone. If this is the first time hearing about eCTD 4.0 and are now worried about figuring it out, there is still plenty of time before it starts to become mandatory. As seen from this chart, different regulatory bodies will determine when eCTD 4.0 becomes mandatory. By the end of 2023, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Japan, and the US will be accepting applications in the eCTD 4.0 format, with the EU and Switzerland starting the following year. However, this image was created September of 2022, so it is subject to change. So what is the structure? This is the classic CTD triangle. This came from the ICH website, which can be visited for more details. The CTD is broken into 5 modules. We will go over the basics of each section, but a more detailed presentation of each section will be provided in the future. Module 1 is not technically part of the CTD. This module has regional-specific administrative information. This includes forms, a cover letter, correspondences with the regulatory agency, and labeling information among other necessary information. The exact formatting of Module 1 varies from region to region. Both the folder structure and the XML backbone will be different. Module 1 for the FDA differs from Module 1 for the EU, which may have some differences from Module 1 for Japan. Module 2 contains summaries of Module 3 through Module 5. When an application is submitted, the reviewer needs to be able to go to one spot to get an overview of everything. Next, we have Module 3. This is where the quality documents are placed. Quality documents include information about drug structure, manufacturing, container closures, and stability. Next, we have our Module 4, which contains non-clinical studies. Any studies not involving direct observations of living patients belong in this module. And finally, we have Module 5, which is one of the larger modules in the application. It is easily 2/3 to 3/4 of the work in assembling an application. This is where all the clinical studies are located. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us in these methods here. Until next time, have a great day.